Patrick Laing with Certainty Management. If you've been listening, you know a little bit of my story. If you're new, I'd encourage you to go back and watch the first two or three first so you are caught up on what we're talking about here. I'm sharing my story of working for an employer in Portland, Oregon named Leafguard Northwest. I was hired as a sales rep initially, even though the general manager wanted me to be the sales manager. I wanted to earn my stripes, learn the ropes, kind of be a sleeper agent, if you will, kind of fly under the radar to understand what was going on before he brought me in as a manager. Well, very quickly, I was the number one rep in the branch. Very quickly, I was the number one rep in the country. And from there, it was an easy transition when he did announce that he was promoting me to sales manager. By then, the reps were coming to me. They were asking to go on ride-alongs. They were asking for my input. I started to do things that they weren't doing, and they were working. So the transition when I did get promoted was very easy, but there were still challenges within the branch. Some of the biggest challenges were between sales and production, not getting along, pointing fingers, and focusing on what the other ones weren't doing well. The sales rep oversold it. The installers didn't install it right. There was a great deal of friction between the two. And immediately, Roy, the general manager, and I saw that this needed to be fixed. We started doing things like meetings together rather than apart. We'd get them all in the same room. We started doing things like company sports teams where they were on the same team competing against other companies with corporate sports. We started doing recognition. We started doing general meetings. We started an ownership plaque and an ownership program where we recognized those who were showing ownership in their work. There were a lot of things we did, but ultimately it was about helping them get to know each other, helping them come to appreciate and respect each other, and putting themselves in each other's shoes, as it were. I talked on the last video about putting ourselves in our customers' shoes, about looking at what's working, what's not working for them. How can we improve the experience? How can we create urgency in them if we're trying to sell, but doing so without them feeling like they're being sold? It's a very important principle in sales. How can you sell without sounding salesy? Well, one of the most important things is to put yourself in their shoes, to ask questions, to get them talking. One of the sales tips I learned years ago is to speak in third person more, to talk about, such and such as, we hear this all the time. This is what our customers are telling us, et cetera, rather than saying, this is what we do or what we think, and this is why. When we say something, it's biased. It's automatically suspect. When others say it, not only is it stronger, but it's also softer. It's also more subtle. Obviously, if we can get the customer to say it by asking good questions, that's the strongest. So anyway, we got our sales team, our production team working together, communicating. We held them accountable. We studied a book called The Oz Principle. We studied a system called the 4 Disciplines of Execution by the Covey Leadership Group. We implemented accountability. We had fun together. We worked together. We played together. We did a lot of things, and it made a difference. And we went from selling about $3.5 million a year to $7.5 million the next year, to $16 million the next year, to over $20 million the next year. And the number one question we got from corporate is, what the hell are you guys doing out there? We did a lot. It was an amazing experience I learned a lot from. Hope you have as well. Come back tomorrow. I'll wrap up the story. Thanks so much.